August 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked.
Say, well, Mr. President of the country, this is a real, decent, fine
war. The resolution will call for the prompt dismantling and withdrawal of all offensive weapons.
All steps for man, one giant leap for mankind.
United States aircraft have resumed action in North Vietnam.
To send a new signal of openness to the world by tearing down that wall.
Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. None of us will ever forget this day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carman.
Read all about it. Satan lost the war, and no doubt it works. This holy power, cause it's ours to devour foes who come against us, cause it sends us out and strong in spirit. This generation needs to hear it now and demonstrate it with God's power. We're the people of God, and we're here to say the Lord is the better way. We're the people of God, and we're on a quest, raising up a banner of righteousness. Someone hurts us, he's the one who mends us. God before us, who can be against us? Redemption, yes, will it be proof? We're the church on the move, 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 move. The people of God, we're here to say, living for the Lord is the better way. We're the people of God, and we're on a quest,
seated.
Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
93 million miles from the blistering surface of the sun hangs the planet Earth. A rotating sphere perfectly suspended in the center of the universe. The ultimate creation from an infinite mind. An unbelievably intricate, complex design. A supernatural testimony and an irrefutable sign that there is a God. The size, position, and angle of the Earth is a scientific phenomenon to see. A few degrees closer to the sun, we'd disintegrate. A few degrees further, we'd freeze. The axis of the Earth is tilted at a perfect 23-degree angle. It's no mistake that it is. This allows equal global distribution to the rays of the sun, making it possible for the food chain to exist. Or take, for example, the combination of nitrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere we breathe every day. It just happens to be the exact mix that life needs to prosper. It doesn't happen on any other planet that way. You see, the Bible says the invisible things of God are clearly seen through His creation. To believe this is not hard. If there's a design, there's a designer. If there's a plan, there's a planner. But if there's a miracle, there is a God. There is a hope, there is a light, there is an answer to all answers. There is a flame that burns in the night, and I know, there is a God. Scripture says the heavens declare the glory of God, and the skies proclaim the work of His hands. If we allow our minds to drink in all the truth that just surrounds us, creation itself will help us understand. Did you know the moon controls the tides? It's the maid that cleans the oceans. Even the waves don't crash the shores in vain. The tides drag impurities into the depths of the sea. It's nature's constant recycling chain. It simply boggles the mind to think that the stars will rotate with such exact precision that it's true that the atomic clock with an error factor of less than 3 seconds per millennium is set by the way they move. Though they silently orbit the sun, the moon, the stars are like celestial evangelists above, who circle the earth every 24 hours, shouting in every language that there is a God. Atheism is the wedge into the foundation of our faith, trying to topple our relationship with Christ. When the fool said in his heart there is no God, he rejects the truth God painted on the canvas of the night. Atheism has never created an artistic masterpiece, never healed a fatal disease or calmed the fear. Atheism has never still given answers to our existence, peace to a troubled mind, or even dried a tear. For it's God who created heaven and earth and flung the stars in space, then breathed in a handful of dirt and it became a man. It's God who sits on the circle of the earth and measures the mountains in a scale, holds the 7 seas in the palm of His hand. It's God who sent His only begotten Son to the cross of Calvary to save our souls from hell and the grave. It's God who creates, God who delivers, God who heals, and God who is worthy of a thunderous ovation of our praise. There is a hope. There is a light. There is If you believe there is a God, give him the praise tonight. You may be seated. There is a God. On our dollar bill, when it says, "In God we trust," we know who that God is. Does anybody know who that God is here tonight? Tonight's going to be a special night. We're going to share some new songs with you, written just for this occasion. Also going to share some of your old favorites, hopefully. We get everybody's favorites in. We're going to learn some things. We're going to learn some things about our founding fathers, about their faith, about what they believed, about how this country was founded. We're also going to see a video premiere, a video that we've never shown before. It's never been on television, but you're going to see it here tonight. And hopefully it'll bring back a good memory. And then we might even show you one of our classic videos and see how that ties in and how prophetic it was when it was done several years ago. We're going to take a visit to the Pentagon, Ground Zero, right where the planes hit. We're going to talk to some of the people that endured that tragedy and how they overcame it. We're going to go visit a battleship that was actually used in the war in Afghanistan. And also tonight, something very special. 40 years ago, President John Kennedy was on his way to make a speech. But on his way to that speech, he was assassinated and he never got to deliver those words. It was November 22nd, 1963. Tonight, for the first time, you're going to hear the words that our president would have spoken that afternoon here on this program. So stick with us, because we got a lot to be thankful for here in America. How many are thankful that you're Americans here tonight? Amen? Can you join me as we sing this song? Give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because He's given Jesus Christ, His Son. Give thanks. Give thanks. Grateful heart. With a grateful heart. Give thanks. Give thanks. To the Holy One. To the Holy One. Give thanks. Give thanks. Because He's given. Because He's given Jesus Christ, His Son. And now let the weak say, I am strong. Let the poor say, I am rich, because of what the Lord has done for us. And now let the weak say, I am strong. Let the poor say, I am rich, because of what the Lord has done. The Lord has done for us. Give thanks. Tonight we're gonna give thanks. We love the red, white, and blue, and we wanna give thanks. We're gonna let you know why we love the red, white, and blue, and give thanks. Give the Lord thanks for being here in this great country. I have something that I want to read to you here tonight, and it's really touched my heart. We went to the Pentagon, and we were interviewing some people there who actually went through the tragedy of 9/11 in a way that most of us only hear about. They actually lived through it. But as we were walking through the Pentagon, I saw a quote that was on the wall, and it was written by a fellow by the name of Charles Province. He's a noted military author, and this pretty much says it all. Listen very carefully. It says, "It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. And it is the soldier who salutes the flag and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protesters to burn the flag. I want to thank God for our soldiers that are in our military today.
Oh yeah, here comes, come on. That's it. I can feel the pressure coming down on me. People say that I'm not destined to succeed, but I have the faith I need to carry on, and I will find the strength in me to prove them wrong. It isn't for the thrill, it isn't for the prize. It's all about a fight to stay alive, knowing that the dream can still survive. When you're out there on the edge and the odds you face are life and death, you got to have the heart of a champion. When your time is running out and everybody sees you're going down, you got to have the heart of a champion. When your back's against the wall and your rival thinks you're gonna fall, you got to have the heart of a champion. Now listen, I have been through thick and thin and every vice. Standing in the winner's circle has its price. I have learned to fight the good fight to the end. And if I had to, I would do it all again. And when the sun goes down, I won't fear the night. I will keep my head toward the sky, knowing that the Lord is on my side. When you're out there on the edge and the odds you face are life and death, you got to have the heart of a champion. When your time is running out and everybody sees you're going down, you got to have the heart of a champion. When your back's against the wall and your rival thinks you're gonna fall, you got to have the heart of a champion. Darkness falls, I won't fear the night. I will keep my head toward the sky, knowing that the Lord is on my side. When you're out there on the edge and the odds you face are life and death, you got to have the heart of a champion. When your time is running out and everybody sees you're going down, you've got to have the heart of a champion. When your back's against the wall and your rival thinks you're gonna fall, you got to have the heart of a champion. Heart of a champion.
How many know when we say heart of a champion, we're talking about our soldiers here tonight? Come on. That's who we're talking about. Tonight we want to show you something that is, we've been waiting to show for a long time. And a while back I did a movie here with TBN called Champion. And I have the black and blue marks to prove that that was me. And the theme song for that particular movie was a song called Faith Enough. And we did a video to that song. And we want to premiere it for you here tonight. But before I show you that, I want to tell you that this is going to lead into something that's very important to me. We are going to meet a combat veteran, a man who actually risks his life for you and me. One of those guys that stands on the wall and says, you are not coming any further and you are not going to harm these people. A real live general from the battlefield of war. Somebody who actually does have faith enough to risk their lives for you and me. So we're going to show that video and let that prepare the way for a meeting with a real life hero.
I am having the privilege of talking to Major General Robert L. Benentorp Jr., and he has given me permission to call him General Van. Welcome to the Red, White, and Blue Special.
Thanks, Carman. Great to be here with you.
Just so we know who we're talking to. Decorations, badges, Distinguished Service Medal. Well, not only that, but you are the president of the Officers Christian Fellowship. Explain a little bit about that.
Well, the Officers Christian Fellowship is a great organization, and our main mission is to have leaders lead in a biblical way to raise up a godly military. That's kind of our mission and vision statement. We have about 12,000 members, all different services, and I have the privilege of being the president. I've been for about 8 years now.
Now, you have seen a lot of battle. You have been in combat a lot, but you were saved in 1967. So all the things that you got involved in, all the battles, all the wars, all the ground strikes, the air strikes, all those happened as you were a believing Christian. What's it like to be in battle as a Christian?
Well, I think that there's two things. One of the things that is so important in the military is to be under authority. And I think, first of all, the authority of my life is God, and then the authority of my superiors over me. So I think that makes it easier. The second part is I feel absolutely and believe that God is sovereign and that He is orchestrating and allowing human events to happen.
What's the loneliest moment for soldiers?
I think it's different for different levels. I would say that the loneliness of a leader that is making decisive decisions to put people into harm's way, that's a very lonely moment. I think if you went back to Eisenhower or to great leaders, to Schwarzkopf, to General Tommy Franks, those are lonely moments. And for our civilian leadership, for the Secretary of Defense and the President to actually say it's time to go in, those are lonely moments. Now for a soldier, they're surrounded by people, and basically they're executors. They go when they're told to go. They're under authority. They operate in obedience, and they go. It's less lonely. I think there's always your reflection back to your loved ones. You know, I mean, that's where your final thoughts. I mean, folks will write letters. We've read some in the papers where someone would write a letter, "If I don't come back." That's a tough letter to write.
Have you ever experienced those moments? I mean, obviously the Lord would comfort you, but at the same time, you're thinking about your loved ones back home.
I think, first of all, having been a unit commander in that situation, we encourage them to write letters back. And there is a point where you know that you're going to go on the attack soon.
Yes.
And so there is a time. I wrote one of those letters myself.
Really?
You know, where you just, you know you're going into harm's way. You don't know the outcome. You know, only the Lord knows the outcome. I think that's where you have the Lord. You can trust Him for the outcome. But you do reflect back on, you know, have you done everything you could for your family? Have you left your boys in good shape? Are your daughters, you know, and able to love? And did they feel nurtured by you? All those things go through your mind.
So you said you wrote one of those.
I wrote one of those letters. It wasn't a "I think I'm going to die tomorrow" letter, but it was you know, "I really love you" letter, like that. You know, in your heart, you're knowing it may be the last letter. You don't think it's going to be, but it may be. And I tell you write a lot of those last letters as you're going through, thinking that this is I never want to lose the opportunity to say I love you one more time to your wife, or to tell your children how proud of them you are.
You got a couple boys in West Point. You went through West Point. Do you remember anything in specific that you may have said to your boys?
I remember specifically talking to them about how important it is to do your duty and what you've been called to do. And then I would tell them, you know, this is what I've been called to do. This is what I've been trained for, and we're going to do our duty. And so, you know, to them, want to encourage them to keep on keeping on. And then, you know, I'd write something like, "You guys make sure you're taking care of your mom." You know, things like that. I came from an assignment in Washington, D.C. You walk down on the mall and you go to the Vietnam Memorial and you see all those names written on that wall. I think of sacrifice. I think of patriotism. I think of people that gave their last ounce of devotion for this country. And what I have the privilege of doing, being in uniform, is to carry on that tradition.
Right.
And so I say freedom is worth fighting for. I also know that there is another name written on our hearts, and there was another sacrifice given, that God sacrificed his son, the ultimate sacrifice. And that name is written on walls, places too, but that name is written in our heart. That's worth fighting for too.
I've been alone, I've been forgotten. Know what it feels like to be on the bottom. Nothing to look forward to, nobody there. I felt the grip of the spirit that takes you under the wave of depression, that makes you numb to the feeling of hope, and you just don't care. And I seek your will more and more each day, but I'm weak and I feel I've lost my way, and I'm hoping I will find you through the maze of all of my confusion when I pray. Lord, I need to hear you say that you're there for me, that you're with me still. And I need to hear you say that you care for me, that you love me, and you always will. I've never ever felt like that before. You know what that feels like? Sometimes you just want to know he's with you, that he's there for you. Help me say, I've been alone and I've been forgotten. Know what it feels like. Know what it feels like to be alone. Nothing to look forward to. Nobody there. Felt the grip of the Spirit. Under the wave of depression. Numb to the feeling. Just don't care. And I see more and more each day, but I'm weak. I feel I lost my way. And I'm hoping I will find you through the maze of all of my confusion when I pray. Lord, I need to hear you say you're there for me. You're with me still. Need to hear you say, care for me. You love me. And you always will. I know it's not a one-way street. From me, Lord, you need to hear me say that I care for you, that I'm with you still, and you need to hear me say that I care for you, that I love you, and I Lord, I love you, and I always will. Oh, Lord, I love you, and I always will. Love you, and I always will. You might want to wave your hand and say, Lord, I love you.
mean it when you say I love you, and I always will. Here with Ensign Gavin Clough. Hello, Evan.
Hi, how are you doing, Carman?
Exactly tell us, what location are we right now?
Okay, right now we're in Norfolk, Virginia at Norfolk Naval Base. We're standing on board USS McFall, Aegis class destroyer. This ship's one of the most capable ships you'll find in the Navy today. Capable of launching Tomahawk missiles and strike missions, capable of pursuing submarines, shooting down aircraft. Really anything the Navy needs to get done, this ship can do.
So this is not a ship the enemy wants to see coming at them?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No way.
For the people that don't know, can someone be a general in the Navy just like a general in other branches of the armed forces?
Navy doesn't have generals, we have admirals.
Admirals, right. So someday I could be talking to an admiral?
Possibly.
Could we still talk like this?
We'll see, we'll see.
I still get a tour?
Absolutely, definitely get a tour.
Before you become an admiral, could you take me on a tour right now?
Yes, I'd love to.
Let's take a look.
Okay.
Are we in the middle of the ship?
This is pretty much the center of the ship. Yeah, this is what we call CIC, Combat Information Center, where we fight the ship once we're out to sea. What I do basically is take the fighter jets that we have in the United States Navy and control them for defense of this ship, as well as high-value units out on the water, and just set them up and make sure they keep everything away from us.
So you love this country?
I do love my country, yes, very much.
And you want to protect it?
Always.
So is it safe to tell everybody they can sleep pretty well tonight because you're at the helm?
Me and my shipmates, that's affirmative.
We are in front of the Tomahawk missiles, right?
This is the forward missile launcher, and Tomahawk is one of the weapons that we do shoot from it. We can also fire the standard missile or the vertically launched ASROC, which is a torpedo with a booster on it to extend the range of the torpedo.
So you're actually in charge of pushing the button to launch that thing.
Right, I am the strike officer, and Petty Officer Squazza is one of the Tomahawk technicians on board, and it's our job to shoot Tomahawk missiles when the time comes for us to shoot those.
I'll report to him the status of the system, and whatever's coming up, if I'm ready to do my thing, to shoot, I let him know, and he gives the execute. He gives a command, and we go.
I noticed that there was the Tomahawk painted on what does that signify?
Up here we have one, and back aft on the other launcher there's three, and that signifies the one missile, Tomahawk missile, that was shot from this launcher during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan.
Now, you say you're from Clinton, right?
Clinton, New Jersey.
That's Clinton. That's just north of Trenton.
Yes, just north of Trenton.
I was born in Trenton. Do you think there's any accident that they would pick a guy from Trenton, New Jersey, to push a button on a guy if that was the case?
I don't know if that had anything to do with why they assigned me to this, but I definitely bring a little attitude to the job.
Okay, right now what we're looking at is basically all of our equipment that we have up here that we use to navigate the ship with. This is the ship's control console. This is where we'll actually have our helmsman controlling the ship's rudders and engines, determining how fast we turn and how fast we go through the water.
So that's a speed control?
Right, that's our engine control, and that's our steering wheel, which works just like a car. Nothing too fancy.
You can turn this whole ship with that little guy right
that's
there.
That's right. That's all it takes.
Okay. Don't touch it. Don't touch
easy.
it. Okay. Do you ever get a chance to come up here?
Oh, I spend a lot of time up here.
Really?
Yes, spend a lot of time up here when we're underway.
Because someday you're going to be an admiral. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Right.
Working on that.
Does your family know you're working on being an admiral?
No.
They don't know? You're just going to surprise them one day?
Well, they'll get the idea if I stay in long enough.
We are all glad to meet you. All our viewers are glad to meet you. And thank you for allowing us to come here today. God bless you. God bless you. I'm going to play my guitar tonight.
Thank you, Ma. Hell, I gotta make sure it's in tune. Well, you're Americans, aren't you, here tonight? Let me see. Very spiritual group here tonight. You know, whenever I put a guitar on, I feel a sense of responsibility to sing a country song. But then it goes away. But then it comes back again. So I would like to sing a country song here tonight. But if I'm gonna do a country, I want to do it real country, like authentic. The countryest sounding this guy I know is Willie Nelson. It doesn't get any more country than Willie. So let's just imagine that Willie just got baptized. So if he was to do a song, it may come out like this. Country. You see, I'm from New Jersey, so isn't that the easiest thing for me? But I ain't in New Jersey now, I'm in Tennessee, so... Willie, country. Baptized. Oh, give me a home buffalo roam, the deer and the antelope play. For tonight will be heard the Holy Ghost word. And the devil might leave town to stay. I think we can do better than that. Come on. They said I'd never make it. They said I would not last a day. They said when things got heated up, I would get blown away. But I'm still here, Lord, still strong, and I'm still holding on every day, holding on every way, holding on every minute, holding on. I'm still in it. I got strength to stay here. I'm holding on, and God's unchanging hand. Every day, holding on every way, holding on every minute, holding on. I'm still in it. I got strength to stay in. I'm holding on to God's unchanging hand. I got strength to stay. You know I'm holding on to God's unchanging hand. Holding on, holding on, holding on, holding on. Tonight is your night to put the world behind. It's your time, it's your moment. The cross before. Nobody can take it away from you. The world behind.